Nicodemus here. On today's episode, I wanted to finish a conversation where we were talking about how the Holy Spirit is a teacher and a comforter, pretty much just bringing us back to God. And I have John 14:26 here. The Helper, the Holy Spirit, will teach you all things. And the ACIM quote is, the Holy Spirit mediates between illusions and the truth.
Yeah, this is a great conversation from the course and, what is the Holy Spirit? And, the course says it tells it almost in a poetic way of the idea of separation from God, which is really not possible at all for us, but that God's answer to this idea of separation uh, is the Holy Spirit. So it's really the Holy Spirit is the link between God, the all eternity, and us, the quote, separated sons and daughters ultimately. And, it's really, you can't have this conversation, I don't think, in A Course in Miracles without also a conversation around Jesus. And in the manual for teachers, the clarification of terms under the Holy Spirit, it starts off, it says, Jesus is the manifestation of the Holy Spirit. So we can almost think of Jesus like a big brother that woke up to the healing first and is that became the manifestation of the Holy Spirit. It says, who he called down upon the earth after he ascended into heaven or became completely identified with the Christ, the Son of God, as he created him, as God created him. So this is the idea, but Jesus' role goes on and it says that the Holy Spirit was, quote, called down upon the earth in the sense that it was now possible to accept him and to hear his voice. So think of the Holy Spirit as the teacher, the link in our minds to God that is always communicating with us through our thoughts, through feelings, through intuition, through, the next song you hear, through the next person that shows up. It's so all we could really do is marvel at it and connect with the grace that it is that the Holy Spirit, it's as though the Holy Spirit is the gift from God that we can never really go too far astray. So it goes on, it says, the Holy Spirit is described throughout the course as giving us the answer to the separation and bringing the plan of the atonement or the healing to us, establishing our particular part in it and showing us exactly what it is. So the Holy Spirit is the teacher, like you were just saying in the Bible. The Holy Spirit's the teacher, the comforter, the healer. And it goes on, it says, he's established Jesus as the leader in carrying out his plan since he was the first to complete his own part perfectly. So Jesus is that big brother, that guide that ultimately, shows us the way and perfected the healing, the atonement that we're on the journey to for ourselves. So the Holy Spirit, the Course says, is in you in a very literal sense, that God is not in you in a literal sense. You are part of God. So there's this distinction. The whole sonship, if you will, is all of us as the beings of the creation of the Creator. There's the Holy Spirit, which is a link between God and us as the Christ. And then there's God, the Alpha, the beginning without end. The God is. I mean, it's beyond description. So this is something that you and I are so intimately connected to that when the Course says the Holy Spirit is in you in a very literal sense, it means that you have access to a teacher that no matter what constantly guides the way. And when you connect to that in your own life, it's almost like the gig is up and that you realize that you're being guided every step by a force and a power that's so beyond description, but the Bible and the Course pointing to the great voice for God, the teacher that always calls us to come back home. So see if you could develop that for yourself in your life, that connection to the Holy Spirit in your thoughts, in your heart, as though there is this graceful presence that is constantly guiding you, constantly communicating with you. And the real question for us is how good are we at listening?